What are you drinking?
Right. Then like what we will do for like 1 hour we can summarize everything. Okay, at least for 45 minutes we'll summarize everything. Okay, then like we will start. Otherwise you don't understand.
So we are continuing from the earlier classes or this is a new topic?
Continuing on the earlier classes only.
आपने notes बनाए ना continuous pause अरे एक बार रिकॉर्ड करता रहता तो सर के बाद कौन है यार
Very well. Okay. How do you remember?
start with needs versus what
Need one.
need gap there is no absolute analysis
Then what else?
Have you seen the loyalty index?
Rational, irrational. After that.
no decision by an individual is ever irrational
A means cluster.
उसके बाद एक और
involvement human involvement
चीज
Documentation.
pestle then something more like
अच्छा वो देखना है and then we did
Either I am a really good teacher or like you people really listen. Okay, I beg to differ on the second part. Okay, no issues. Okay, so what we will do is we will do 4 courses. Okay, first, second. No, I don't think I'll be doing rambling. Okay, for you, but like let me see. It depends on the time that we have.
We have a lot of.
No, we don't. My courses are like close to 120 hours. Okay, we have like some 60 hours. I have already taught 20 hours. Okay, we have 60 hours on this particular window. Then I will have like a during this thing so that I can and I can finish things thoroughly. Okay, what have we done? The first course is all about how do you come up with an idea and take it to the market and make money out of it. That is exactly what a go-to-market strategy is all about. A go-to-market strategy comprises of how do you come up with an idea? Okay, what is the idea creation process? Okay, then how do you take the idea to the market and make money out of it? Yes. So what we will do is, okay, I'll just do a quick recap. Okay, in 20 minutes I'll try to recap. I told you, what is an idea? Remember? What is an idea?
problem coupled with a solution.
Solution, finally. Okay, so everything begins with a need. Okay. What I say a need is a consumer's state of dissatisfaction, or we simply say a need is a consumer's problem. Okay, a need is a consumer's problem or a momentary state of dissatisfaction, right?
Yes.
Now, the moment the consumers are aware that they have a problem, what are they going to do? They are going to
Look for solution.
They are going to look for solution. What is the set of all the solutions that the consumers look for? Called as? They are called as wants. Yes?
Yes.
The wants are the typical solutions. Can you create a need? No. No. Why?
It is already existing.
It already exists. What you can do?
Awareness.
You can create awareness about the need. Okay, just to listen to. There is no need to. So like because anyway you should have done this particular revision. Okay, since you are not done, you are meeting after 2 months time. I personally think it is needed. And of course, what is the second you can do as a marketer? You can create better solutions. Right? Okay, great. There are going to be multiple marketers that are out there. They are going to create a lot of solutions, right? Which is the solution that you are going to pick? There's one that has the highest
Value proposition.
value. Okay, then one that has the highest value. Now, what is value?
Benefits minus cost.
Benefits minus cost. Value is nothing but the sum of all the benefits that like you get minus sum of all the costs, right? Are the benefits minus costs the same for different consumers? No. No. It varies from consumer to consumer. For the same consumer also, it varies from situation to situation. That is why value is always perfect. So as a marketer, what are we doing? Are we selling like products or services? No. as a marketer, everyone or one of us is going to propose a value, saying that this is what is the benefits that I'm offering, this is what is the cost that we are going to incur. Okay, that is the third thing that we do as a marketer, which is all about proposing value. And the consumers will always pick up the solutions which has the highest value proposition. Yes or no?
Yes.
One. Okay, the moment consumers see that there is this particular option has the highest value proposition, what is the consumer going to do? The consumers will have a
Decision.
of course, what is the decision? The consumers will have a willingness to pay for that particular solution. Okay, what is that called as?
Demand.
What is called as the demand. The consumers will have a willingness to pay for this particular value proposition or a bond. Okay, so when there is a willingness to pay, okay, for a particular value proposition, that is what is the total demand. Okay, but there is a willingness to pay and no ability to pay, then that is what is called as a latent demand. When there is also an ability to pay, then that becomes a current demand. As simple as that, right? That becomes a current demand. Now, how do you convert a demand to a desire? How do you convert a demand to a desire? A desire is a want that can't be replaced. That is what is a desire. Okay, boss, I want to have momos means I will have momos for snack. You can give me like anything else, I will not. Now all of you, folks, close your laptops. Close your mobile phones. That's what every faculty complains. Shahrukh also said the same thing. Okay, this guy also said the same thing. One more like I told you that we will give you the best experience, but like that also depends on like what is the kind of a reciprocity you have. All the nice Bhupesh is done, okay, because term 1, okay, now like we are married, okay, now like you have to live with me, okay, there's no, way, okay, want with that can't be replaced, that is exactly what is a desire. Now, how do you convert a demand to a desire? How do you, logically tell me, how do you convert, means, I am going to look at a solution, this is the only solution I want, I do not want any other solution, okay, how do you convert a demand to a desire?
Increasing the value.
Of course, enhancing the value. Okay, that is the fourth thing that you do as a marketer. Yes or no?
Yes.
The fourth thing that you do as a marketer is all about enhancing the value. Right? And I'm giving you the notes so that like you need not make any notes, so you just listen. Now till here I told you, okay, everything is determined or everything is like depends on only one thing. What is it? Value and value alone. In these 4 steps, everything is determined by one thing called as value and value alone. But the moment, okay, I make the purchase, okay, what happens is black dot is where the sale happens. The moment I make the purchase, this want will be replaced by my expectations.
You'll have to, I think.
Okay, what is this expectations a function of? The expectations itself is a function of
Commission of
Benefits.
I think you have to move. Okay, it is not my thing that is protected. Okay. Okay, the expectation is a function of all the benefits that has been promised to you. Yes, it's nothing but a function of all the benefits that has been promised to you. Okay, now that is the problem, right? Okay, you were in order to sell the PGT Bharat program, okay, they had to increase the value. Okay, to make the product stand out, they had to increase the value. So how did they increase the value? They could not have reduced the cost because anyways they have to run the program, they have to pay me. Okay, they have to take you to all these 14 locations or whatever locations. Okay, but
over promise.
So,
no, wait.
and there's
Where is it?
Patel from
The inside.
inside.
This is the one now.
Patel, उसके अंदर उसके
No, this is
अंदर
not the one.
Where was I going? Under the system.
That's okay. Anyways, I'm shouting at like a decibel like 200. Okay, listen. Okay. So, in order to sell this particular product, okay, the sales team, okay, they could not increase, they reduced the cost. So, what did they do? They enhanced the benefits so much. Kind of a thing. So, what happened? Because of that, okay, the expectations also went up. Now, if the expectations are going to be matched by the so-called perceived delivery, then what is going to happen? There will be a sense of satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
It is not going to be masked by a perceived delivery. What else do you have?
Dissatisfaction.
Sense of dissatisfaction. Now suppose if we had promised something and we had delivered extraordinarily good stuff, then what would you have had?
Delight. Delight.
Okay, now what is the state of dissatisfaction? What's the state of dissatisfaction?
Need.
Okay, and that is the reason why the cycle restarts. Okay, you are all extremely upset with whatever it is. Okay, now the first term you had certain expectations. We promised that. No. So what happened? Your expectation in the second term was, is it high or low?
Oh,
Again, like we came and did the expectation setting in the second term. Okay, that is the thing, right? So we still will now if we are able to promise. Okay, who's the one who's holding this? This particular thing. Who's the one who's sharing this?
Somebody has to click on the Masters Union thing and follow. Then the board will follow.
Trust present.
Online learners will be able to see. Okay, that's the only problem. Stop. So don't stop that one. Okay, that's okay. Fine. Because I want to finish the sentence recap in 10-15 minutes and then start the positioning. I told you, okay. If you take
Just follow up, sir. Move your cursor. वहाँ उसमें दिखेगा MU. हाँ ये just click on this and follow. आप अपने iPad से sir. Hello.
Excuse me.
चिड़िया तोड़ी है भाई. Very good.
Bye.
अब अगर नहीं हुई तो हमारी कट जाएगी. हमें मैच है हमारे अंदर इम्यूनिटी है कि नहीं. पिक तो सबने करी.
हम तुम्हारे साथ जब तक तुम करके नहीं.
ऐसे चूतिए लोगों को भी नहीं रखना.
नहीं.
this is not moving. There is a problem here.
Can we just not stop this and then just do this again? Can we not close this whole thing and then?
That's what we did.
No, as in like the whole.
sir, try pressing H and spacebar. Then you can move it yourself.
Follow, yeah.
Internship.
That is because, okay.
आपने किया क्या?
Okay.
Bula bhi
I'm almost unsure कि होगा
You don't change anything, okay? Because like what is happening is like if I move it, okay,
No.
that is the thing. The problem is what is actually happening is okay. I am following them. That is why, okay.
So you
We have to move, okay. You have to move like a distinctly, okay. Because if I move, you move it whenever it is needed.
Normal whiteboard laptop. Why?
Can we use a normal whiteboard
Okay,
outside?
because I am moving, it's not moving. Okay.
हमें वो laptop दे दो.
That's okay. That's not an issue. Okay. That's an issue. Hey, shit. Hey, okay, fine. Listen. Now, if the expectations are going to be matched by the perceived delivery, then there is going to be a sense of satisfaction. If it is going to, the delivery is going to exceed the expectations, then it is going to like result in a lot of delight. Okay. Now, if you look at
So if you want your cursor to follow, you can do follow my
I know, but I do not want to. Okay. Then it is not showing up. Okay. Now, if you look at it, okay, a continuous sense of satisfaction, if it is going to be there again and again and again, I told you there might be a sense of loyalty that might emerge. And loyalty itself is a function of all the satisfaction that you have. So we can still like a salvage PGP Bharat. Why? Because the first term, okay, you had a dissatisfaction. Of course, I accept that you had dissatisfaction. Okay, but overall, by the end of the third term, if I am able to send you with an overall positive satisfaction, still you can be attached to like a process unit. Are you able to get it? And all of you, do you even have any kind of loyalty? Nothing at all. Okay, but I told you there are two types of loyalty. One is called as a behavioral loyalty. Okay, the other one is called as an attitudinal loyalty. If you look at the behavioral loyalty, the behavioral loyalty is all about an inertia to change. That happens because you have a huge inertia to change. But the attitudinal loyalty is where like you are going to like something. Think why? Because you actually like the product. Okay, only for a cult brand, and you have something called as an attitudinal loyalty. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This entire thing is dependent on something called as satisfaction. This entire thing is dependent on something called as satisfaction. Now, I told you the first, the moment like you have an expectation, you have to match it. Suppose in the first term you matched it. In second term, your expectation goes up. Okay, we have to again match it. Okay, the third term, your expectation goes up even more. Okay, we have to again match it. So that is why the fifth thing is all about matching and managing expectations. This is exactly where the Bharat program failed. Of course, we first term, okay, matching and managing expectations. Okay, now do you understand? The moment the matching and managing expectations is going to fail, okay, still like the biggest problem is, okay, all of us are going to suffer. Okay, why? Because it's not a sustainable program. That is exactly what you people were saying. Was conceptualization? It was very. Is there a need? Yes. Did they create an awareness about the problem? Yes. Did they create a vision? Yes. Did they propose the value? Yes. Did they enhance the value? Yes. Because they promise the moon to enhance the value, and it's super easy to sell a product. Okay, but very difficult to market the product. Why? Because see, that's the paradox of marketing. Okay, the paradox of marketing is all about, okay, it's very easy to sell. Okay, why? The sales team just sold you and they did not even come back and look at you. The delivery team is the one, okay, which has to manage the satisfaction. Okay, now if these two things do not talk with each other, super easy to sell. So 50 people we got, second batch anyways we got like another 50 people, third batch we got another 50 people. So selling is super easy. But if you are going to just sell and not like satisfy the customer, okay, that word of mouth, you asked, right? Okay, we can fool the consumer once, yes. We can fool the consumer twice, yes. Okay. The moment the consumer is fooled, they can go and create a huge negative word of mouth and they can bring the entire brand down. The consumer, especially an agonized customer, is like a worse customer to have, worse individual, a stakeholder to have. That's the thing, right? And this is a live example. Okay, live example. Many people say, boss, what is so unique about starting a business? Let me start a business. That's not a difficult thing. No. Okay, it is all about managing value and satisfaction. Can I draw the right balance? Okay, you do not overpromise the moon. Okay, boss, say if I will underpromise and overdeliver, then you are not even in the running. The sale itself will not happen. So optimally what you can promise and optimally what you can deliver, if you are able to manage this fine line, then you have a business. Otherwise you have shit all stuff. And that's the live example that people want. That's the live example that like we are seeing, we are experiencing day in and day out. Again, coming back to segmentation, we have a consumer like that as well. We have a consumer who are serious as well. Okay, that is another problem of like the sales team. Okay, I have to fire them. Okay, so but are you able to get it? This is the first step. Okay, this is the first step of your idea construction process. Now tell me, whenever you said that, boss, I have an idea, did you go and take your idea through this particular steps? And don't think that you will not be able to, you will be able to fix all the 5 gaps in the first instance. It's not possible. If you are able to identify one particular gap, I told you that all the things that I have written in red, if you are able to get one gap sorted, that is more than sufficient. Okay, to enter the business. And that's exactly what Master Student did. They said, oh boss, there is a need. I'll create an awareness about the problem that there is an alternative way of learning management. Okay, go, start a solution and like start. But you will not be able to sustain the business if you do not fill all the 5 gaps. It's very easy to sell a business. It's very easy to sell a product. To sustain the business, it's a mammoth task. Okay, to sustain a business, it is a mammoth task. That is the first step, which is the need gap analysis. And the outcome of the need gap analysis is what is your idea, right? What comes out of the need gap analysis? The outcome of the need gap analysis is what is your idea. Okay, great. What is an idea? I told you, an idea is a problem coupled with a solution. Is there a problem in Masters Union's PGP Bharat? Yes, the problem is a very good problem. Okay, is PGP Bharat a good solution? Yes, it's a great solution. Okay, but when did it fail? Or when was the upsetting part come? Okay, and did not come in the need gap analysis. Of course, managing expectations was one thing, but still like the program is going on. Okay. So the moment you have this idea, boss, I have this idea. Okay, I will be able to fill all these 5 gaps. Okay, now what? What is the next step?
Stakeholder analysis.
Okay, who are the different stakeholders who can come and salvage this idea for you? That is the next step. Okay, the next step is, what I have this particular idea. Okay, who are the ones? Okay, come and salvage this idea for you. So the ones. Okay, basically, you come up with an idea, you ask 4 questions. Will my competition allow me to make money? In this case, yes, there was no competition at all, because there were no similar products. Second, will I be able to acquire and retain customers? Acquisition was easy, the retention is where we are struggling. The second stakeholder is the most troublesome stakeholder. Okay, and of course, will there be any problems created from the non-market forces? Okay, nothing was there. The 4th thing is that, do I have it in me to do this? Okay, or do I need some stakeholders? Okay, means do I need some collaborators? We failed on 2 stakeholders. One is about, okay, the consumers. Okay, the second one is about the collaborators. Okay, so just because you have an idea, okay, if you do not have the right collaborators, you can, again, like, the thing is that this one set of customers, we can always course correct it. We can always, and that is exactly what is the beauty of business. You cannot have 100% sound business on day 1. Okay, but within the 2nd and 3rd iteration, are you able to fix this properly? Okay, that is what is going to sustain this particular program. Okay. And the only problem was when you are like the first time customers, okay, you feel that like, okay, boss, like, what is this kind of a thing? I am under receiving it. That's what like you think. Okay, but I see it as, okay, boss, this program had these flaws. I will course correct it before the next batch comes. As a marketer, that is the thing. Some customers will be disgruntled. That's okay. And that is what is the true aspect of learning by doing. Okay, it's not necessarily you do everything and start the business. On the go also you can learn. On the go also you can learn. Are you able to get it? Okay, so I will not say that it's like such a very bad idea to start something and like then like a course corrected. As a consumer, you're sitting and thinking like this, but put yourself in the shoes of market. Put yourself in the shoes of government. Okay, yes, boss, I tried something. Okay, these are the flaws. Let me fix it before the next set of consumers come. Okay, so you have to basically ask these 4 questions. Okay, is my idea profitable? Will competitors come soon? And make my idea less profitable. Okay, will my consumers understand me? Suppose if you are all patient consumers and say that, okay, boss, let me, this is also an experimental program and I signed up for it because I am an innovator myself. Okay, now if they are also trying, okay, let me like give the benefit of doubt. Okay, there can be some consumers who would be like that. There can be a lot of consumers who are possibly not like that. Okay, then of course, okay, can I get all the permissions to start this particular program? Because we were Masters Union, we already had a license. Okay, this feasibility was not a problem. Otherwise, this also would have been a problem. Of course, do I have the capability to carry this? Or, right? Okay, and that is exactly where we did the so-called stakeholder analysis. Why? Because the stakeholders are the ones who can come and or break this particular idea. Yes or no? And if you look at the stakeholder analysis, also called as the IC analysis, or we also call this as the scanning of the market. Okay, the market scanning analysis. Okay, and he said there are 5 stakeholders, right? Who are the 5 stakeholders? The first stakeholder is the competition. Okay, the first stakeholder is our competition. And then, okay, see, profitability is impacted by all the players. Okay, profitability is impacted by all the players. Okay, it's not just the competitors. Okay, but competitors are the ones that majorly squeeze the profits. Okay, why? Because out of the 5 forces, okay, that disturb our profitability, okay, 3 forces belong to competition. Who can squeeze our profits? Bargaining power of buyers can squeeze our profit. Bargaining power of suppliers means the collaborator can squeeze our profit. Threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, industry rivalry. These 3 things are all about competition. Okay, all the 5 stakeholders can squeeze the profit. Okay, buyers can squeeze it, suppliers can squeeze it, the collaborator can squeeze it. Okay, competition can squeeze it, government can squeeze it. If government had come and like put a 30% tax on this program, they would have squeezed our profits. Okay. Of course, company employees, okay, Shikhar, if I come and say, boss, I will salvage this program, give me 1 CR, okay, to salvage the PGP Bharat program, I can also come and squeeze it. Okay, the internal company stakeholder can also come and squeeze it, but competitor can majorly squeeze it. Okay, tomorrow, like if Mesa comes and like launches a similar program, I might say, boss, I will do it better. We have learned from the mistakes. I have talked to the stakeholders, I have learned from the mistakes. I'll do these things better. Okay, what can they do? Okay, they can undercut our prices. Bharat cannot charge possibly 20 lakh rupees. Okay, that is the reason why we studied the first player. It's called as the competitor, and in order to understand, and again we looked at the Porter's 5 forces, right? Ceteris paribus. Okay, if one of the forces go up, then the industry profitability comes down. Okay, and the 5 forces are bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, okay, threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, and extent industry rivalry. Okay, great. Now, profitability is very, very high in the market program. What is the next step? The next stakeholder is what? Your consumer. Now, what was the consumer based question? Can I acquire retail customers? That is exactly where the term of this best program stop. Okay. And if you look at the consumers, this is a very high involvement purchase. A very, very high involvement purchase. Okay. So, and when you're having a high involvement purchase, how does the entire process go to? Starting with problem recognition, you searched for different alternatives, evaluated the alternatives, and you purchased. In the post-purchase evaluation is where like you are suffering. Okay. The moment you have like a high involvement purchase, there will be always a buyer's remorse, and that is why you are having a buyer's remorse. If it had been a low involvement purchase, okay, you would have just blindly gone to the biggest player or the most, because you would have skipped the search for alternatives and evaluation of alternatives. Okay, whoever is the best player in MBA, you would have just gone. I would have done it in IMA and like say like, okay, boss, I got this thing sorted out. Because it is a high involvement purchase, okay, and you went through the process, okay, the moment you have chosen, oh boss, I should have gone to some other program which I had an offer of. Okay, now how can I salvage this? How can I salvage this? I have to come under, what should I do? Increase your favorability opinion about the product, consumption product brand. Okay, it's a unique program. Bharat is a good product. Okay, and the Masters Union is a good. I have to change your opinion. How do I change your opinion? Only through a service innovation I can do. That is what we are trying. Okay, because the product has been like crafted, it has been sold. Okay, only I can salvage this on the service innovation. Okay, by making the classes much better, by making the outclass much better, by making the, okay, possibly the placements aspect much better, or the entrepreneurial aspect much better. Okay, that is the only thing we can focus currently, and that is what we study. Okay, by using the so-called IDA of the consumer decision making model. Yes, and of course, if at all there was an issue, okay, from the context, okay, that would have troubled this particular program, but like there was no issue from the context. Possibly the war, if it had started earlier, it would have been a bigger problem. But we did, the vessel was fine for us. And of course, do we have the strength in us? Okay, sticker and the shenanigans. Okay, the things, okay, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. I do not want to comment about it. Okay, you know. Okay, now if at all you do not have the strengths, okay, what do? Do you buy the business then? No. You bring the strength from outside. Outside the program, who was there? The collaborator was Bhupesh Manohar. Okay, so they have brought the collaborator to salvage the company, okay, so that they can enhance the capability. Okay, why? Because the capability is there. Okay, we can still like fix any of the problems that these three things bring. Are you able to get it? So that's the reason why, again, the salvaging thing we have to quickly do. Again, I'm not saying it as a salvaging. I will not like again and again salvage. Okay, again and again say it as salvaging. Program could have been planned better. Questions there, but now the program is still continuing. Okay, so how do I improve that? How do I improve that? The only part where like we are struggling is the consumers' involvement, right? I have to immediately enhance the consumers' involvement. I have to make sure you are here not for an utilitarian purpose. Because how do I like ensure it? I have to change your attitude towards consumption product track at all the three stages. All of you feel that was 18 lakhs I gave, I'm not like getting the value. You are seeing the program as a utilitarian program. Okay, I have to make it value expressive and I have to hammer that. Okay, because you're not here to just look at like 40 places, you're here to build your business and we are going to make it happen. And we will help you make it happen. Okay, and that is when it will move from utilitarian to value expressive. The moment you say, oh boss, they are genuinely trying to help us build, and whatever trips he made, okay, we got a perspective which will help me build. If I'm able to reorient you, okay, I can still salvage this. Are you able to get it? Okay. Now where will be the bigger trouble come? Okay, now like you understood the stakeholders, right? Where will the bigger trouble come? Bigger trouble is going to come here. Come. Who? You people. Because, okay, who is my consumer sitting in this class? Who is going to move from the so-called utilitarian aspect to the value expressive aspect? That's the problem. That is going to be the biggest challenge in terms 2 and 3. Okay, logically that is the biggest problem. Why? Do I have a homogeneous group of 45 people sitting here in this class? No.
No, sir.
Okay, that is the biggest problem. Why? The sales was done on the basis of what? The sales was done on the basis of, okay, one thing called as ability to pay, which is a demographic variable. All of you people who had the ability to pay 18 lakh rupees, oh boss, I will get this particular student. Yes. But here I see 2, 3 segments sitting. One of you who are very serious about building. One of you are very, very serious about getting entertained. One of you, these two are groups I can manage. Okay, I can have an infotainment as a positioning. We are going to come to the positioning now. But there is one group which does not want to do anything and want to attribute their own issues on the external agency. Okay. That might be a third group sitting. It may be a very small group of people, 3, 4 people who was I do not want to do anything, I do not want entertainment, I do not want entrepreneurship. I am here, okay, but I do not know what I want, but the master senior has to provide that to me. That customer is there. Knowing all of you, I tell you, right, just by you people walking, talking, I can read and write your entire history. Not that much of a confidence I have. One of the reasons why I don't do a psychoanalysis of my students. Okay, because it is extremely bad. We will talk about that when we are doing behavior. But I know for sure what are the problems. This is an actual problem. Okay, and this problem exists. Okay. Now, is this a very bad problem to have? Okay, this is a very, very bad problem to as a new entrepreneur. This problem will be there. Okay, now suppose let's say Nishchay and Kaushal are considered as the best consumer for according to my ICP, who are the entrepreneurial Bharat travelers. Okay, in the next second cohort and third cohort, I will ensure that that cohort is filled with the 85% or 70% of Nishchays and Kaushals. That is where it will come, it will help. So you will start pragmatically. We will say, okay, boss, let's 50-55 people, let us in. We will try to figure out who the consumer is, and we will try to build the idealistic way of doing marketing. Okay, by doing. Okay, this is what is the pragmatic to an idealistic approach. What is the idealistic approach itself? Where you do an exhaustive market research, and from the first customer itself, we will get the ICP only walk-in. Okay, that is what I will be teaching. But my way of looking at things is an idealistic way. Okay, in the real world, pragmatic way alone works. Why I am teaching the idealistic way? Anyways, to scale a business, you have to go to the idealistic way of doing marketing. You can start pragmatically. Okay, weed out some of your non-consumers. Learn from that particular consumers itself, and then bring the idealistic way of doing marketing. The first batch of Master Senior, possibly we would have had 50% of the consumers who are the idealistic Master Senior customers. Second batch there will be 55%, 60%, 65%. By the 7th cohort, at least 80-85% of my customers should be my ideal customer persona. This is the pragmatic to an idealistic way of doing marketing. But on first day itself, if you had that, for example, a L'Oreal or a P&G or a Lever or an established brand like a GE or a Microsoft or a Google, they will begin by an idealistic way of doing marketing. Where they have all the money and the resources at their disposal, they will do an exhaustive market research to get what is the ideal customer persona and then push their products. But if you are a startup, you will do this idea pragmatic of doing marketing only. Let me get some customers. Some of my ICPs will be there who's like in sync with my product. Okay, let me get the same type of customers in the next cohort or the next round. The problem with Masters Union is, or not the problem actually, in fact, the benefit with the Bharat program is the duration of consumption is long. So I have sufficient time to iterate to get the ICP right in the term 2 or cohort 2 or cohort 3. But what if your product is a water bottle or like it's a chips packet? The duration of consumption is very, very, very less. Can you iterate that fast? Or the first batch of chips is produced. The second batch, can you iterate that fast?
No.
That is where you have to have a lot, it's almost a 60% idealism and 40% pragmatism. MU, that's where they miss the bus. Okay, MU's thing may almost 80% was pragmatism, hardly 20% was idealism. Okay, if you had that 60-40 balance, then it would have been easier to push to the next stage. So this is another point that you have to take into consideration. When you are going to start the business, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Okay, because that's exactly when you are an entrepreneur on first day, you will not be perfect. After doing an exhaustive market research also, you will not be perfect on the first day. There will be always problems. But if you are going to say, oh, no, I will sit here and plan, then fuck you. As simple as that. Okay. So the thing is that some people will plan only to fail. Okay. They will plan how to plan. Okay. You keep on planning without executing, you are in a big soup. Execution is absolutely important. Execution, and during execution you'll learn a lot more things. Are you able to get it? Okay, so that's exactly where my biggest challenge is going to come from the segmentation process. Okay, why I should have, ideally, okay, the schools should have segmented you on the basis of the psychographics and behavioral variables. Okay, but how have we segmented? We have segmented you people majorly on demographics. I will not say still there were some psychographics that would have been taken because you all went through an interview process, right? Some base lining would be there. Okay, some baseline would be definitely there. Okay, I'm right. We are not like 80. I said like 20% to 25%. We would have also been idealistic. We would have wanted say 75 to 80%. We were more pragmatic. Okay, sure. Let's get the students. Okay, now there are two folds of problems or two folds of solutions can be there. One is that that I can fix this in the cohort 2 and cohort 3. That is for the future batches. For the current batch, still I have to salvage the program. Yes or no? That cannot be done on segmentation, right? Because we have already segmented. Okay, the target segment has also walked in. Positioning, I cannot reorient now because I've already promised I can salvage only on the marketing mix or the 7 Ps. That will come. That will come forwards. Are you able to get it? So this process, the segmentation, targeting, positioning is all about salvaging for cohort 2 and 3, the next set of customers. Okay, for you people, I can salvage things only on the basis of the 7 Ps. How do I reorient the product and the service? Yes, are you able to get it? Yes. For example, okay, see, whatever I say now is extremely important. Okay, I do not know whether his bladder is super full or not. He has actually walked out. I'm not even minding him in the least. But I have to make him also happy when he goes out after term. Are you able to get it? That's the thing. That is the logical thing because otherwise one bad consumer's negative word of mouth can still bring the brand down. He is possibly not at all interested. Okay, to listen. Then what should I give to him as a part of my marketing mix so that he feels at least neutral rather than going out disgruntled. Are you able to get it? Okay, and the same thing. Okay, same thing with all of you people as well. Okay, so for that we will focus on the marketing mix from the next class. But before that, if you look at the segmentation, okay, what did I say? Segmentation is the process by which you create a homogeneous group from a heterogeneous population. And what is this homogeneity all about? The homogeneity is all about the need, as simple as that. Everybody in this particular group should have the same problem. When everybody has the same problem, what is going to happen? I am going to create one solution, which is the Bharat program, which will resonate with everybody. Now, 3 problems are sitting in one group. What did we create? A homogeneous group. We did not create a homogeneous group. We created a smaller heterogeneous group from a larger heterogeneous group who have the ability to pay for this particular program. One of the reasons again and again I said was don't segment on the basis of demographics. So the grouping should be done. Okay, if you look at segmentation of the process, the grouping is done on the basis of 2 things. Okay, what is it? Segmentation, if you look at it, it comprises of 2 processes. Something called clustering and profiling. Okay, now what is clustering? Okay, what is clustering? Clustering is all about the grouping part. Profiling is all about the so-called naming part. The grouping part should not be done on the basis of demographics. The grouping should be always done on the basis of the so-called psychographics and the behavioral variables. But for the naming part, you have to use 1 or 2 behavioral variables, which are the open behavioral variables. Not half, okay, it's 1 or 2. And majorly, it is done on the basis of the demographic variables. Okay. Why? Because I can describe a person only on the basis of demographic variables. Now, this part is what is called as a clustering, and what you get of a clustering is a cluster, and what you get out of the profiling is a cluster descriptor. And together you get a segment. Okay, together what you get is a segment, and the typical consumer of that segment is what is called as an ICP, the typical customer of that particular segment. That is what is your
Ideal.
ideal customer persona. Okay, we will learn how to do the segmentation, this 3rd course. Okay, for that I have to teach you what are all the so-called psychographic and behavioral variables. That is what is the 2nd course. Okay, now yes, let us say there are 3 segments that have come. Okay, there are 3 segments that have come. Okay, one is the education segment, one is the entertainment based segment, one is like possibly the infotainment based segment, information and entertainment. Now, which is my segment? Which is the segment that I have to focus on out of these? One is say a travel seekers. Okay, one is about the entrepreneurs. One is the entrepreneur travelers or something. Okay, entrepreneurial travelers kind of thing. Which is the segment that I have focused on the basis of what is my strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so if I suppose I'm going to choose this particular segment, okay, I will have to look at which segment as these 3 things or a combination of these 3 things. What are the combination of these 3 things? You look at what is the profit potential. Then you look at if there is a sales potential, or are we looking at a unique need? Possibly there can be a combination of this. Okay, is there a sales potential for like a Bharat? Yes, there are at least 4,000, 5,000 applicants that came. Okay, so sales potential is much higher. Profit potential, yes. Even if I increase the program from 18 lakhs to 22 lakhs or 25 lakhs, people are still going to come and pay. Is this a unique need? Yes. This moving pillar of management is not there in India. All the key things are there. Okay, and once you look at this, this is what is the segment's choice. Okay, you look at from the consumer's end, are these things there? And you look at from your end, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Again, you will do a swatch. And you will also do a POTUS 5 forces analysis. Or typically, in all of your 5C analysis, you do. Okay. Why? On the basis of this only, you choose whether like which segment that I have to focus. That is what is called as targeting. Okay, that is what is called as targeting. Okay, so you have to choose which is my favorable segment. Possibly completely entrepreneurial segment is useless for Bharat. Completely entertainment based segment, that is also useless for Bharat. Possibly an infotainment segment is the one that is a good customer for Bharat. Okay, so first segment also possibly I have to leave, or possibly I'll make the infotainment as my primary segment, entrepreneurial segment as my secondary segment, and leave the entertainment members out. Okay, so I will choose the segment, and now what do I pitch Bharat as to my future cohorts? This is how like it should have pitched in the first cohort itself. Okay, in the future cohort, how do I pitch Bharat? Okay, so that is exactly here we come to the most important topic of positioning. This is where I left you. Okay, one other topic I did is the distribution, and that will come after product only. Okay, it should come, but I finished distribution. And why? Because I'll recap distribution when we finish product. Okay. Any questions? So that is the recap of the first 10 sessions. I was supposed to have finished the positioning and then left you. Okay, but like somehow you all were like busy on that 31st or something of that day, so I could not do it. Okay, so any questions on positioning?
So one doubt on positioning.
Any questions still here?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, go on.
So now, is positioning, now let's say, is it only the process of choosing the right segment for your existing product or changing the product also?
Targeting.
Okay, so now let's say on the MU website, there is only a Bharat fellowship that is basically changing it into like a lower like demographic also, and psychoanalysis in a way where you're, let's say MU is choosing younger crowd, right? Who may not have that exposure. Is that positioning or is that targeting?
No, possibly. Okay, that is targeting. That's a separate segment. Okay, that's not your segment. The Bharat possibly that fellowship will click a lot more. Why? Those guys are not here to have very deeper understanding of things. They are there, okay, to travel to those 20 places, some basic understanding, and some realistic application. Okay, that is the thing. So that is the information plus entertainment crowd. Okay, which is the infotainment crowd. Possibly that would be the much better segment. Okay, for that program, it's a short duration program, a 6 lakhs or something like 6 weeks or 7 weeks program, right? Okay, that price point also will be very, very different. Okay, but if you have to like come and salvage the Bharat crowd, okay, then like I have to reposition Bharat. Okay, how do I reposition Bharat? That's exactly what we are going to see. First, what the heck is positioning? Okay, so this is what is just a recap. Okay, 1 hour went in the recap itself. Okay, but I hope I don't have regrets. Okay, because I thought like I brought all of you to the same page. Okay, where we are. Okay, just let's take a quick 5 minutes break and come back and start with positioning. The time and is all. Okay, coming back to positioning. Let's see. What is positioning? Okay. What is positioning? What? Tell now. What is positioning? Okay. See, I have not suggested any book for you. Okay, so far. He never suggested us. Okay, why? Because again, you can call that my arrogance. Okay, but I feel that there is not one single book. Okay, that encapsulates marketing well. Okay. Possibly, I will give you a lot of HBR articles. Okay, you can go through those articles and maybe can. Okay. But one book I want all of you to buy. Okay, and keep is this book. Okay, what is the title of the book? The title of the book itself is positioning. Okay, it's 400 rupees or 500 rupees. Please buy it. Okay, buy it. The title of the book is positioning. The full title of the book is positioning. Title of the battle for your mind. Okay, and that is what is the definition of positioning itself. There is my path. The full title of the book is positioning. Okay, positioning, the battle for your mind. Okay, and nobody can like explain in positioning in 5 words like this beautifully. Okay, what is positioning? Positioning is how I pitch my idea, not in the market. When you're going to pitch the idea in the market, that is distribution. How do I pitch my idea in the mind of the consumer? That is exactly what is positioning. Okay, positioning is nothing but of your mind. Okay, two greatest marketers of all time. Okay, I level them a lot. Okay, from the best marketers. Okay, Al Ries and Jack Trout. The only thing is that they don't identify them as marketers. Okay, they identify themselves as like a psychologists. Okay, and that's why they are good marketers. Okay, so same thing. I also don't identify myself as a marketer. I don't know marketing. I'm not talking out of humility. I don't know a lot of aspects of marketing, and one of the reasons why I personally have not been into the industry, I have immense respect for industry practitioners. Okay, whatever the other things are, you can sit in an ivory tower and give all the gyan possible. But being a shikar or a pratham to execute things, I have a lot of respect. I have my hands off. Okay, for them. You can sit in an ivory tower. Oh, you should have let like only all these people. But went through all the interview process. You can like sit and talk. Okay, from a very position of privilege. Okay, oh, idealistic way of doing marketing. You come and do when your ass is on fire. Okay, all idealism will go out of the window. Okay, as a plus that. Okay, but I have that business sense. That's the business sense that's not impacted together. When you are in the ideating stage, then execution stage, you have to come ballistic and like you have to put all hands on. And in the ideation stage, okay, some goof up had happened. Okay, that is where like I have pass. Nothing else. Okay, same thing in your idealistic stage, it is always like this. I always say, okay, so run a program or run a business like a Hollywood movie making and not like a Bollywood movie making. You know what is the difference? In Hollywood, when they are making a movie, they do the preparation for the movie for at least 3 years. They do the preparation for a particular movie for at least 3 years. Okay, starting from okay, the light boy to like the director, what is each one's role? Everything is written in a book. Okay, day one, this should happen. Day one, morning, afternoon, kind of a thing. This is where the resources are going to be coming from. This is where the set will be there. Everything will be prepared for 3 years, and the movie will be executed in 3 months, or the movie will be made in 3 months. Okay, but what do? We run a business like the Bollywood movies. Okay, we will prepare for 3 months and keep making the movie for 3 years. Okay, thereby creating the cost for everybody and like make sure that like the entire process is stood up. As simple as that. Okay, so this is what is the difference between. This is what is the nuanced difference. Okay, that is why I keep on saying. Okay, boss, talk to at least 100 people. For an hour each, you will definitely have an idea. The only problem is, okay, you talk to 3 people, everybody said there's a problem. Okay, let me start the business. And then you get like a problem. As a plus such. This is where like you have to like spend a lot more time on the ideation process. That's why like I'm teaching the entire course at a conceptual level. First module is just conceptual. Okay, that's why frameworks after frameworks are coming. Okay, why? First module, what I'm teaching is giving you a 30,000 feet view of what is marketing. Oh, yeah, marketing kya hai? Okay, starting from need gap analysis, okay, to a marketing mix analysis. Marketing comprises of only 4 steps. Need gap analysis, stakeholder analysis, STP analysis, the next one is marketing mix analysis. With that, marketing gets over. This is the top-down view of what is marketing. Okay, so when you say the battle for your mind, how do I like pitch my idea in the mind of the consumer? How do I pitch my idea mind space of the consumer? Okay, that is exactly what is positioning. Okay, that is exactly what is positioning. Okay, now I'm going to show you an advertisement. Means watch a lot of advertisements now because in case you're also tired. Okay, so I want you to just wake up a bit. Okay, this is the best advertisement I can show you. So, as far as positioning is concerned, okay.
आप क्लास 8, 9 या 10th में हो? क्या आप IIT जेई और नीट की तैयारी करना चाहते हो? आप क्लास 11th या
दिख नहीं रहा
Share the browser.
so you will have to present
Oh, now I have to present. Like online. I did not know that this problem will happen today. Doctor is like I need.
Start P. Start button and press P. It'll show you to screen.
Yeah, the two screens are being shared. Okay, let me just show. Page. You share the screen or I have shared the screen? Okay, yeah.
Sauce. By Jaffer.
It's different.
क्या हुआ बॉस?
आपने भी वही कम्बा का टमाटर का सास सॉस
पहले YouTube वीडियो ऐड में देखी होगी।
हम अपने YouTube पे देख लेते हैं।
ये मैंने नहीं देखी ना भी पुराना
नहीं बॉस मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टोमेटो चिली सॉस इट्स डिफरेंट
ऑडियंस लिया ऐड है गाना को देख।
बट है तो जावे जावे
हाँ जावे जावे।
Now today I have two multiple advertisements. So how good are you people during the weekdays? How available? Or all of you are busy?
We are available.
Not during the weekday afternoons, okay? Not go to weekday evenings. That's when I can take the calls.
Available.
also provided availability. So internships are also there.
इवनिंग में थोड़ी ना इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है।
Digital marketing or content creation.
Digital marketing.
How are you starting your business? I can discuss that. What do you want to do?
बॉस
Boss has gone for a toss.
टोटल लॉस
Maggie hot and sweet. Enjoy the difference.
थोड़ी ही देर बाद हमारा हेलीकॉप्टर हिंदुस्तान के बॉर्डर से दूर बर्मिंघम पहुंच जाएगा। माइकल तुम साइकिल पर वहां। सारा शहर मुझे लॉयन के नाम से जानता है और तुम ये कमबख्त टमाटर का सास खाते रहते हो।
इट्स मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टोमेटो चिली सॉस इट्स डिफरेंट
मैं तुमसे आखिरी बार पूछता हूँ ये कमबख्त डिफरेंट क्या है?
दिस सॉस इज डिफरेंट बॉस
लिली डोंट बी सिली।
Maggie hot and sweet. Enjoy the difference.
भाई गेम है तो टेनिस क्लास ये मौसम ये क्राउड आहा और क्या चाहिए कुछ डिफरेंट यार यहाँ भी तेरा ये मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टमाटो सॉस मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टमाटो चिली सॉस इट्स डिफरेंट इट्स डिफरेंट तेरे पास और कोई वर्ड नहीं है क्या है क्या अलग है कोई मुझे प्लीज बता दे कि मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टमाटो चिली सॉस का टेस्ट क्या है
Maggie hot and sweet. Enjoy the difference.
पेशेंट को क्या हुआ
इनकी मेमोरी खो गई है।
मेमोरी जावेद भाई मैं पंकज याद है पार्क बेंच फिल्म 100 दिन सॉस के टेनिस मैच स्विमिंग पूल अब कुछ याद आया टमाटर का सॉस नहीं मैगी हॉट एंड स्वीट टोमेटो चिली सॉस इट्स डिफरेंट गया
ये कैसी चाल?
इस सॉस का कमाल इट्स डिफरेंट
Maggie hot and sweet. Enjoy the difference.
did I start by saying? Okay, I told you. So that this is the best advertisement I can show for as far as positioning is concerned. Okay. How many of you felt that these were like a lot more mediocre advertisements? Okay, not such a great advertisement. Why did he hype it so much? Okay. How many of you felt was leave alone mediocre? They were super cringy advertisements. How many of you felt that? One.
But I would even they were cringy, but I would like to try.
Okay, fine. The thing is that why did I say this is the best advertisement that like I can show as far as positioning is concerned? Okay. You were not able to understand because you do not know what is the context in which this advertisement was made. Okay, that is why. Okay, see all of you. Okay, anybody here which was the 90s born? Or the 90s born? Okay, so no 80s born is there. Okay, all of you are like mostly 2000 and above, right? So you will not even realize like what we went through. I was born in 89. Okay, so I myself do not know what this shit was. Okay, the thing is, my father used to say, okay, so tomato as a fruit, okay, was not based out of India. Okay, where did tomato originate from? Spain. Tomatoes, okay. South America, okay. There are more than 300 species of wild tomatoes that still grow in the Andes. Okay, tomatoes from South America, okay. Okay, it never grew in India. Okay, but people were falling in love with the tomato taste. Okay, and there was no genetically modified tomatoes. Okay, the kind of hybrid tomatoes that like we see today, that was not there. Only the desi tomatoes were there. And the tomato was not growing very well in the Indian soil. Okay, because the temperature was also not adaptable, and we did not have the so-called fertilizers and manure at that time. Okay, so do you know how a tomato ketchup was made? Okay, because tomatoes we had to import tomatoes, but because of the license Raj at that time, we could not import tomatoes. But people wanted tomato. Okay, sauce. Okay, so what did people do? Do you know how tomato was made? How many of you have had some dosa or idli from Bikanerwala here? Here. How many of you have had the tomato chutney? Did it taste like tomato chutney? Is it tomato chutney? You know how a tomato sauce or tomato ketchup was made? It was made of kaddu. Pumpkin. Okay, they used to take the pumpkin pulp it out completely, and they will import the tomato flavored powder. Add to that, okay, add some salt kind of thing. Make a nice kaddu tomato ketchup. Okay, kaddu ketchup. Okay, the name of tomato ketchup, and that is exactly how it was sold. Okay, and you buy it and keep it in the refrigerator. I have seen kaddu kind of a thing. Okay, all the pumpkin paste will settle down, leaving the watery thing. It's very difficult to take it out of the bottle only. Okay.
Tops ketchup.
Yes. Okay. So it will be there. The pumpkin will stay at the bottom, and that is exactly how many of you have heard about this brand called as Old Farm. Watch.
थोड़ा केचप ट्राई करो। केचप होता कद्दू भरा, इसमें कद्दू नहीं जरा। वाह, लगता घर का बना हुआ।
लाल रसीले टमाटरों से होता ये तैयार। ना ही कोई मिलावट इसमें, ना बनावटी रंग। एक बार जो चखले उंगली जाते बार बार।
वोल्टास का उत्पादन बेशक वोल फार्म।
So, if you look at this advertisement, okay, what did he say? Thoda ketchup try karo, to kaddu bana. Okay, I do not want it. It's made of pumpkin. Okay, right? No. There's no kaddu in this, and that's exactly how Old Farm was pitching it, right? And you look at the tomato sauce was too watery. Okay, if you had seen the advertisement, it was too watery, right? People were fed up with it. Okay. And Kaddu was always there. And the moment Old Farm and all these people came also, the tomato sauce was a lot more sweet because of the sugar, sir. Okay. They hated it. That is when Maggie comes. And what are they saying? Boss, this guy, okay, Javed Jeffrey is asking, Kambaka tomato sauce, right? What is so different about this? Okay, ये क्या है? He said, like, boss, it's not tomato sauce. It's Maggie hot and sweet tomato chili sauce. It's different. Okay, it is Maggie hot and sweet tomato chili sauce, and there's a stress on the chili as well. Chili sauce, it's different. Boss, I am a tomato sauce. This is a tomato sauce. This is not a tomato sauce. It's different. That is exactly what is positioning. Masters Union is a business school. It is not a regular business school. It's different. That is exactly what is positioning. Okay, positioning it comprises of two things. Okay, and that is why in the entire advertisement very clearly. Okay, boss, it is Maggi hot and sweet tomato chili sauce. It's different. Okay, I am a part of the category. No, boss. I stand out of every other members of the category. Okay, and that is exactly what is positioning. Positioning is all about how do you first gain credibility. Okay, how do you first, let's say like these five guys are like trying to attract a girl. And let us say our sixth boy is joining them. First our boy has to say, boss, I am a part of this gang. Then, no, I'm from all these idiots in this gang. As simple as that. That is exactly how he will be able to get this. Are you able to get it? Okay, so positioning is all about, okay, two things. One is all about how do you gain credibility, and I'm going to pitch myself as a solution to the consumer. First, boss, I am like all the other solutions that you are looking for. Right? Because that's the bare minimal thing that I have to satisfy. Then, no, boss, I'm different from all the other solutions that you're looking for. Okay, and this is what should be conveyed whenever you're going to do positioning. Positioning comprises of two things. Okay, the first thing is all about, okay, boss, I am similar to all the other solutions. Second thing is that, well, I'm different from all the other solutions. Besh. Okay, first thing is that I am similar to all the other solutions, then and I'm different from all the other solutions. Jesus. Okay. I'm losing it now. Oh, moving, huh? It was not moving at the time. Oh, there is a lag. So if you look at it, okay, positioning comprises of two things. First things, you do positioning for two reasons. Okay, you do positioning for two reasons. The first thing is all about how do you generate credibility. Positioning is done for two reasons. The first one is all about how do you generate credibility. The second reason why you do positioning is how do you stand out. Okay, if you stand out without generating credibility, okay, like your boss, I mean, nobody is going to believe you. Okay, so positioning is done for two reasons. Okay, he said that like he wanted to do a chips packet or something like he said, right? So I remember this that much memory I have. Okay, imagine that. Okay, so if you, I remember all theories and everything like the back of my hand. Okay, but I don't remember any one of your name. I just printed kind of thing. Just don't put like your name. Okay, you are screwed. Okay, so like the thing is that okay, I know that he's a finance guy. That's the only thing I remember of you. Asima for finance. Okay, you have crossed into my like the considerations. Okay, so. If you look at it, so generate credibility. Okay, generate credibility. First thing you have to generate credibility. Next, you have to stand out. Okay, now that's exactly where positioning comprises of two. There are two positioning strategies. What is it? The first one is called as a point of parity positioning. Called as the POP. And another one is called as the point of differentiation. POD. In the industry, you would have heard these two words. What is your POD? Okay, again and again they ask this. But because POP is a given, okay, POP and POD, these are the two words that like you hear again and again and again. Okay, what is your point of parity and what is your point of difference? How many of you are already tired? Okay, because now like what I'm going to cover is like a very important. I can take the class later as well. Okay, shall I continue?
Yes. Now the interesting. Interesting part.
Okay, so if you look at it, okay, one thing is all about how do I generate credibility. Okay, the second one is all about how do I stand out. Now, how do I generate credibility? Tell me, I am starting Masters Union School of Business. Okay, imagine it is 2020. Okay, how the heck can I generate credibility? Where will I get the credibility from? Okay, where do I get the, don't say that the credibility is coming from LPU. Okay, that money came from LPU. Okay, we never wanted to associate anywhere with LPU. Okay,
Faculty, masters, industry practitioners.
Masters, industry practitioners, good, that is one way. Okay, but before that, okay,
Son of MP. What is son of MP?
That was MP, but he became MP later. He became an MP in the last 2 years.
People who, students who've already created businesses,
Sorry?
students who've already.
Because day one now.
Credibility.
On day one, okay, because I have to pitch to the first cohort also, right? Okay, on day one, how do I gain credibility or how do I generate credibility?
Leveraging your industry practitioners.
Online first. Puneet, tell me.
So you're leveraging industry practitioners' credibility indirectly.
What is
We built a business, so we will help you also to do it.
That was told. Okay, what is the industry practitioner's credibility? That was told. Apart from this, what is the bare minimal thing? First thing, I have to be looking like a business school. Yes or no? I have to have a syllabus. Okay, where I teach statistics, marketing, okay, OB, okay, whatever it is. Okay, economic strategy. Kind of thing. I have to like a first ensure that like boss, I look like all the business schools. Yes, I look like all the business schools. Now, if you look at point of parity, okay, how do I generate credibility? I can. There are two types of point of parity. Okay, actually, point of parity is of four types. The first one is generating a point of parity, which is called as a category point of parity. I look like all the other schools. First, I will have a campus. Okay, I'll have like some chairs, tables. Okay, I'll have a syllabus. Okay, I'll have a placement cell. I will have like a student relationship. I'll have like say some faculties. All these things, whatever is the other schools, I have to first look like that particular school. Okay, whatever are the different schools, I have to first look like that school. Okay, that is what is called as a category point of parity. I am getting the credibility by looking like all the other members of the category first. Or you can do a very, very, very interesting thing, which is called as a competitive point of parity. Now, who is the topmost player in the MBA ecosystem in India? ISB. Okay, ISB. Okay, I am not IMS. ISB. ISB is the topmost player. Okay, and when we started, do you know what we called ourselves as? We are the ISB of the North. That's exactly what we did. Okay, so this is exactly what is a competitive point of parity. Okay, when we started, okay, of course we cannot like say that openly because ISB will sue the heck out of us. Okay, but in the, of course, we are a new school. Okay, first we are like the ISB of the North. Okay, we are the ISB of the North. Okay, and do you know like who was the chief guest? Okay, for our first orientation session? MU. Inauguration and orientation. Do you know who was the chief guest?
ISB
Pramod Sinha. Okay, the first dean of ISB. Okay, we brought them. Okay, and he was and that is exactly. ISB did not take us so seriously at that time. Now, like there are crying. Okay, that we should have taken MU seriously. Now, if you look at it, and we are the talk of the town. Okay, at least in ISB board meetings, I know cautious because I have like my friends there. And okay, now you know that's why ISB has been like very, very eager to make me come there and like poach me in all possible ways. Okay, so I said like, the saying is paying me. Okay, if you look at okay, so this is exactly like what is a competitive point of party. Why? Because I'm going to get credibility, but not looking like all the other members in the particular category. I am going to look like all the topmost player in the category. Okay, I'm going to look like, so for example, okay, how many of you know about these two things called as Avis and Hertz? Have you heard about Avis and Hertz? What are they?
Taxi,
They are the
self-driving.
The self-driving, the cab services, cab,
Zoom car.
yes, like some of the cab rental services. Okay, now if you look at it, Hertz is like a monster. Okay, Hertz was a monster. Hertz was almost 20 times bigger than Avis. Hertz was almost 20 times bigger than Avis. Actually, Hertz was the biggest player. Okay, Hertz was the biggest player in the market. Okay, so it was almost 20 times bigger than Avis. Okay, there were at least 5-6 players. Okay, behind these 5 players, Avis was somewhere here. Okay, do you know what Avis did? Avis ran a campaign called "We Try Harder." What did they say? Was Hertz, they are number 1, but we try harder. Okay, Hertz is number 1. Okay, we respect Hertz, can you see? But we try harder. What did every customer started to think? Oh, Avis is the second and individual, and they are trying harder to like provide a much better value compared to Hertz. Okay, that's exactly. Okay, I'll show you. And I can hope that this is clear.
Spotlight shine bright all on me. Got the internet talking like, who is she? Whole world watching me.
This is Jeff Nudiers.
I think it's a because of
Avis trying harder moment. On their way to a wedding, Jeff and his friend Errol ran out of petrol in the middle of nowhere. They made their way to the nearest dorp, which contained 7 churches, 3 butcheries and a very nice taxidermist. But sadly, no petrol station. Luckily, Vusi, who happened to be on his day off, was only an hour away and volunteered to come to their rescue. Because nobody wants to be stuck in the middle of nowhere. We'll do our best to make sure you don't stay there. Share your Avis trying harder moment at wetryharder.co.za.
Now, this is exactly what they did. Okay, they said that like, boss, Hertz is number 1. Okay, but we try harder. Okay, we try harder. The moment they started to say, boss, this is exactly what is competitive point of parity. This is what is competitive point of parity, where you go and attach with the topmost player in the category, and you say that like, oh, boss, like, we are the close second. Okay, we are the, yes.
So, isn't this point of difference when they're trying to tell that we are functionally better than them?
No. Okay, we try harder, as simple as that. We try harder than who? The people know. Okay, they cannot use the word Hertz. Okay, we try harder than Hertz. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so it is all about anchoring yourself. If you look at like a competitive point of parity, if you look at it, ISB. Okay, if you look at it, ISB was the one that was sitting here very, very, very prominently. What do you do is you go and anchor yourself to ISB as though it is dear life. Now, what will ISB do? ISB will not keep quiet. ISB will say, chup, chup, get out. But you are hanging on to that particular leg as though it is dear life kind of a thing. Okay, but you openly say that. Okay, you cannot openly say that. Okay, but let me ask you a simple question. There was already a ISB of the North. Where? ISB Mohali campus. Then why was Masters Union considered as the ISB of the North? Why were consumers accepting Masters Union as the ISB of the North?
Because
call is from the south, like the customers know.
No.
Better location.
Thank you. At least like some bright ones are there. Okay. So numbers. Where is I am A present? Ahmedabad. I am Bangalore. Bangalore. I am C is in I am Calcutta. ISB where is it? Hyderabad. All of these are A cities. Okay. Where is Mohali? In the middle of nowhere. Okay. Nobody wants to get stuck there. Okay. So the thing is that IIM what? That is like away from human civilization. Keep it. Okay. You are from Mohali, yeah?
I am from Mohali.
You are from it's Chandigarh. Chandigarh and Mohali are like same places, huh?
Yeah, like it's like Delhi NCR. It's like Delhi NCR. Saying it's like saying MU is in Delhi.
Yeah.
Gurgaon was like this the millennium city. Mohali is like okay, I say like a new city.
Yeah.
So as we were saying, okay, I am Guru. Sorry, I am not Gurgaon. Okay, like Masters Union Gurgaon only. That's exactly what we said. Because we were in the because we were, and again Chandigarh is also not a big city. Okay, it's a planned city. It's not a big city. Okay. And like, unlike the metropolis, okay, the top metropolis, okay, and that is the reason why we were accepted as a what? ISB of the North. That is the category point of parity playing out. Okay, at the same time, multiple things will play out. Okay, now what will happen is, okay, you are like hanging on to ISB as though it is like your dear life. Okay, you are hanging on to ISB as though it is your dear life. Yes. Okay, now ISB will start to go and show yourself. First, if you look at it carefully. Now, how did like ISB first start? ISB wanted to go and attach itself to something called as the disruptive thing, right? That's exactly where ISB is, right? Now, Masters Union wanted to go and ISB is here, Masters Union wanted to go and attach to ISB. It actually wanted to attach to disruptive, but to the disruptive school, it's very difficult to go and attach there. That is exactly where MU came and attached here, right? But now, MU, if it is ISB of the North for a long period of time, it won't, work, right? So you have to go and attach to something else, possibly an innovative disruptor. This becomes your point of difference. Okay, now there is a stupid school called as Mesa School of Business. What are they doing is, they are coming and saying, boss, we are the Masters Union of the South. We are the Masters Union of the South. We have to beat them to pulp. Okay, otherwise they will also play the same game. Okay, are you able to get it? Okay, see, life is like that. Okay, and this is the reason why I enjoy marketing. Okay, because it is like a tango. Okay, you make the first move, and of course, like you need two to tango. So that's exactly where the marketer and the consumer should tango properly. Otherwise, somebody will come and take the consumer away. As simple as that. Yes. Okay. Now this is what is a competitive point of parity. This is what is a competitive point of parity. Are you able to get it? What is the category point of parity, and then it's a competitive point of parity. Now, what if at all? You would not have a category, even like Bennett. Remember microfridge? Yeah. Okay, there is no category player. There is no. He is the first player in the competitor in that entire category. In such a case, where do you get the credibility from? I told you can get it either by attaching to the topmost player, in the category, or like looking like all the other members of the category. Yes. Now, tell me, if both of these things are not there, then what do you do? You get the credibility from outside. Okay, how do you bring the credibility? You can bring the credibility from a certification.
Substitute?
Right? A brand ambassador. In Masters Union, we brought that as well. Like from Masters. You get it from brand ambassador or any other collaborator. For example, for Mesa, the credibility comes from alienation. because they're elevation capital funded, okay, and they say that elevation capital has like a 50 companies in their portfolio, and like we place you there. Okay, that is exactly where they brought in the credibility from. Or the credibility can come from something called as a parent brand. Okay. Or the founder. Okay, but with the LPU, we did not want to have that credibility. Okay, but like for TED, credibility comes from Masters Union. Okay, for TED, where the credibility comes from Masters Union. Are able to get by that time, Pratham has also established himself as a brand. The credibility is coming from okay, Pratham. Okay, so you have to bring the credibility. For example, one of the best examples I can give, okay, is the Nano. Tata Nano, okay, the credibility. But why did the Nano fail? Okay, this is an interesting example. Let me show like an advertisement again. Okay.
So the cheaper car. Yeah.
Okay, if you look at
This is an ad for a free class on data science. And here's why I think this is something that you shouldn't miss.
One more competition.
कब आएगी?
अभी आ जाएगी।
आ गई।
ऊबड़ खाबड़ है। सलाम साहब, बड़ी है। दर हर नजरी, दर हर नगरी, दर हर शहरी, दर हर दरी, हर पीछ खामी राह सफरी।
टाटा नैनो, आपकी खुशियों की चाबी।
Okay, still why the Nano failed?
Like an auto.
Okay, no. So most beautiful advertisement I have seen. One of the most beautiful advertisements I have seen.
It has the cheapest.
Yes. Okay, so this is exactly when, okay, you are the. I have immense respect for Ratan Tata, one of the people who I respect. Okay, and it's very, very difficult to earn my respect. Okay, immense respect for Ratan Tata. Okay, now like he's not even there, like let him rest in peace. Okay, but when you are the CEO of a company, okay, you have to leave the marketing to the marketing department and keep all the 9 pores of your body shut. Okay, otherwise this is exactly what will happen. Now, if you look at it, what is a car? What is a car? Okay. Who buys a car? What is car a symbol of? Okay. And don't evaluate. How many of you are from Delhi? Oh, Jesus. Don't even evaluate a car on the basis of the Delhi folks. Okay, these guys are the ones like who want to show who's the biggest dick on the entire street, and that is the reason why they will go buy big cars. Okay, all those people who have extremely low muscularity will have very, very, very huge cars. That's a different story. We'll talk about that in a culture class. Okay, but what is a car? Why do you buy a car?
A mode of transport.
Status symbol.
A mode of transport.
Convenience. Car is an See, car is an instrument to show that you have arrived in life. As simple as that. Okay, and Tata had a beautiful story, boss. Okay, Tata had a beautiful story. Okay, whether he saw that couple, okay, with that particular umbrella in the rain, okay, traveling or not, he had a beautiful story. At least he made up a good story, right? He wanted to make this car. Okay. Everything was beautiful. I mean, if you look at it, and if you look at the entire advertisement, okay, it's moving to a rugged route, and the guy is looking at it, badi hai. Okay, and everybody is looking at it, and like then, aapki khushiyon ki chabi, right? To your happiness, everything was perfect until Ratan Tata opened his mouth and said, 1 lakh rupee car. Okay, and this is the reason why, okay, you should never position on price. That's a death sentence. Positioning on price is actually a death sentence. Okay, the moment he said 1 lakh rupee car, 1 lakh rupee car, 1 lakh rupee car, what had happened? Everybody thought it was a cheap car. By that time, Splendor was at 85,000 rupees. Okay, an auto, okay, this was seen as a glorified auto. Who bought the car then? Who bought the car? Who bought the car then? People bought. Okay, do you know who purchased the car?
Absolutely utilitarian.
No, who didn't care about.
Lower middle class did not touch the car. Or middle class did not touch the car. Who did? Who bought the car?
Utility, second small car.
Wonderful. Okay, finally a point. So listening. Okay, so people who already had a car and who have proved to others that they have arrived in life, okay, they purchase this as a second car. Okay, so that the wife can take the kids and drop the kids at school, or like possibly the maid can go and buy groceries, or like you can transport your dog to the vet. Okay, this was purchased second car. Okay, people who did not want to prove anything. Okay. How should have Tata pitched it? Okay, everything was fine. Okay, apart from that, like 1 lakh rupee, 1 lakh rupee, 1 lakh rupee. Instead of it, if Ratan Tata had like pitched, look at this is one of my favorite advertisements.
Smart.
Look at the price. That's the beauty of okay, positioning. Okay, the thing is that, and the thing is that surprisingly taking the 50, as simple as that. Okay, that's the beauty of positioning. They should have just pitched it, okay, as like a car for convenience. Okay, because it's very, very compact in the city, you can reach a destination faster. Okay, if he had come and told, boss, we are making India's first car and coming from the Tata brand, I can give my word that it is going to be exceptional. But I am going to, you would have celebrated the 100,000 rupees. First 100,000 customers, I'm going to give it at 1 lakh rupees. After that, like we will give it at a real price bus. Okay, in 5 minutes it would have flown like fire. Okay, the moment you said it is a 1 lakh rupee car, that's exactly when you drew the death sentence for the brand. And from that, the brand would not like get up. Positioning on price, that's a death sentence. Okay, it has killed multiple brands. Okay, and most of you think, oh, I will put a cheaper version, okay, and I'll just sell it. No, that's horribleness in making. Your position, that's not price. Okay, then like you are stuck at that point. For example, there is something called as a dollar store. You're dead there. Okay, apart from dollars, $1, you cannot like sell anything there. Even if you keep, people will start to question you.
Can you give
more examples of companies who've killed themselves due to price positioning?
No, Parle-G, another best example. Okay, they had a 4 rupee price point. Okay, for 13 years they stuck at the 4 rupee price point. They moved from 4 to 5. Okay, Sunfeast came with a 3 rupee price point and survived to 70% of their market share. Okay, anchoring on price, I'm telling you, anchoring on a fixated price point, that's a death sentence. The dollar store. Okay, so all these things. Okay, so how do you then take a position? Okay, you have to position on something that you cannot copy. Okay, so what is it that we'll see in the next class?
How is rodeo positioning?
That we'll see in the next class. Okay. Anyways, any questions?
But I still had a doubt about like how the first ad wasn't differentiation but rather positioning. Now let's say when a brand is telling you that we are better in any way, right? Even though they're not mentioning another brand, right? They are telling we are better. So some reason, some function that we are better by this, or we are more convenient.
We are not like saying better, we try harder. They cannot simply come and fool any customer saying that we are better than us. Your third has the highest market share. They are simply saying we try harder. Okay, on what aspect also we do not, they never said. We try harder than the first brand means everybody will think that you are the close second.
So they're not specifying on what, so just keeping it very vague.
Yes. Cool. So we'll see. Next one class schedule in the middle. Okay,
Sir, number and how to get your time.
Number. Okay, my number. Okay, fine. Like, just don't call me when I am like
after 10:30.
Okay, after 10:30. But I gave my number right already.
No. Where? How?
Many of you might have.
Whoever does, just send it on the group.
Okay, we have got it.
And sir, how do connect with you and like, as in like to connect, book time.
My time, okay, that is the only glorious thing. Okay, I respect a lot. First, you come with your idea. Okay, first send me